I'm Kate, 58 years old. I'm working as a neurologist at a university hospital in France. Taking advantage of my daughter's short-term study trip to America, I'm back for an extended break. How many years has it been? Visiting the university hospital, my former workplace, brings back nostalgic yet painful memories. Sitting at the cafe terrace I frequented during breaks, sipping coffee. 18 years have passed, the view outside has changed slightly, but under the same clear blue sky, I suddenly recalled those words. I prefer a smart child born to 23 years old woman than a child born to older woman. My ex-husband's sudden words left me speechless. What do you mean? It's obvious. As a doctor, you know the risks of older pregnancies, right? Your statement isn't about maternal health or childbirth itself. Exactly. It's about the child's abilities. What? Why are you bringing this up now? You knew this from the start, didn't you? That's why we pursued fertility treatments. Well, that's true. I did want a child. Then, the circumstances changed. I don't understand. I genuinely couldn't comprehend. We, a doctor couple, me a neurologist, him a plastic surgeon, struggled with infertility for 2 years before finally conceiving at 40 after fertility treatments. Overjoyed at the pregnancy, Noah, my ex-husband, became overly protective until the stable period. Friends, colleagues, and family joked, the real challenge starts after the baby's born, amidst our happiness. Yet, within months, we faced a situation where those initial words were uttered. Did you really not realize? Didn't notice what I was doing outside the house. There was no way I hadn't noticed. Yet, there was the reality of an expanding family a few months later. This can't go on, I fought, mustering up my courage, waiting up for late returning Noah, attempting to initiate a conversation numerous times. And on that day, I waited again. Welcome back. You're awake. Yeah, I wanted to talk. Whether Noah knew my feelings or not, his indifferent response was all I got. Hey, got an invite for the hospital's dad class today. Do you want to go? Apparently, most husbands attend the class. I'm not going. I said I'm not going. Not interested. Not interested. I'm a doctor, you know. I've seen countless pediatric patients. I don't have an issue with kids, so isn't that enough? But raising our own child from infancy is totally different. Even though I'm a doctor, I have no clue about childbirth or parenting. It's beyond my imagination. That's your perspective. Mine's different. I'm fine. So, I'm not going. End of discussion. With an uninterested air, Noah exerted silent pressure, but I mustered the courage to continue. One of my colleagues mentioned she saw you cheating. She saw you recently in the city, arm in arm with a young girl, happily shopping in a department store. Oh really? Was that person stalking me or something? No. She just happened to be there for something and saw you. But she decided to gossip to you, using the word cheating. If it's untrue, that's slander, right? That's not the point. That's exactly the point. You realize I'm being suspected, right? It's a story where no one knows if it's true or not. So, is it a lie? Well, my clinic emphasizes beauty, so it's staffed mostly by young women. Women can be tricky with each other, right? To placate them, everyone needs equal treatment. As the owner, I offer meals, shopping, and relaxation to acknowledge their hard work at a popular clinic. So, you're doing the same with other staff, not just a person my colleagues saw. Well, you could say that. So, neglecting our family for that. Kate, understand this. Without those girls, the clinic wouldn't thrive. They support our income, right? So, isn't it thanks to them that we can maintain our household? Calling it neglect is a bit much, don't you think? Noah smirked as he spoke, making valid points but spouting the lowest of words. What's relaxation anyway? Is it code for hotel escapades? My colleague mentioned seeing him entering a hotel with a woman. The hotel's name they mentioned is one Noah often uses for business dinners. Upon hearing it, I instantly felt it was damning, but couldn't say it out loud. Maybe Noah had been hiding such activities since the early days of the clinic opening, redirecting his attention outside once money flowed in. After that, he seemed to hide less, spending less time at home. And we're back to that opening phrase. One day, as soon as he came home, he called out to my bedroom, "Come here." I wonderingly opened the door to find a flashy, young woman sitting on the sofa, smiling thinly. Ah, is she the woman my colleague mentioned? My murmuring caught the attention of Noah. Quick on the uptake, huh? So, this girl here is going to be my official wife from now on. And she's already pregnant. Dicey. So, what happens to me? Divorce, obviously. You can't get a divorce so casually. Casual or not, I have to take responsibility for this child. And what about your responsibility to me? Money. Huh. Money. I'll give you more than enough. There'll be divorce settlement anyway. I could even give some money to that belly child. It's coming from your old-fashioned womb. I'll provide enough to cover any shortfalls. So just hurry up and sign it and disappear. With that, a pre-filled divorce form was placed on the table in front of me. The woman smirked, muttering disgusting under her breath as she looked at me. Being in the same space as these people is unbearable, and above all, I realized that it's impossible to consider Noah as my husband anymore. From there, things moved quickly. We agreed to involve lawyers and decided to have me hold on to the divorce form. I didn't want to live in the house we lived together anymore, so I swiftly packed my essentials into a suitcase and left the house. 18 years later, returning to America, I never expected a chance encounter. Lost in thought, I noticed a figure approaching nearby. Just as I turned to look, Kate, the voice I never wanted to hear again, resonated in my ears. It was Noah. It's been a while. Unable to ignore the greeting, I replied with a neutral tone. Approaching me, he chuckled and spoke again. What? You come back from France with your tail between your legs? Huh. You went to France, right, feeling the pressure, and came back to rely on your alma mater. His mocking grin seemed to reveal the true nature of the person in front of me, leaving a heavy feeling in my gut. Just a regular homecoming. My child had things to do in America, so we're here together today. So, that child from back then. Days no one else. I see. Why are you here together? Is that child sick or something? Huh. His words left me speechless. I prefer a smart child born to 23 years old woman than a child born to older woman. Noah's words from back then resurfaced, and my heart ached once again. As I struggled for words, footsteps approached from behind. Mom. Grace. Who is he? The unfamiliar man seemed to be accusing me as he noticed me sitting there, shrinking. With utmost caution towards my Noah, Grace checked the man. Upon seeing Grace, Noah, too, glanced at me suspiciously. Smirking, I said to him, "This is Grace, my daughter, and, biologically, your daughter too." My words left Noah wide-eyed in shock. It's not surprising. Even just from appearances, Grace had a tall, beautiful, and elegant figure. Moreover, if she's coming in and out of here, Noah must have heard about those rumors. Once again, while carefully choosing his words, Noah asked me, "Wait, could it be Grace, from the surgical research lab?" Bingo. Grace, here for a temporary stint in the surgical research lab. Noah is speechless, and I can't help but laugh. The child he abandoned before birth has become an outstanding medical student after 18 years. Moreover, Noah had assumed that a child born from geriatric pregnancy would be less than stellar or even born with some kind of defect. He would never have imagined that such a child would become a beautiful medical student. Surprised, aren't you? The woman you discarded, who used to talk about geriatric pregnancy, has turned out like this, huh? Well, and Grace is skipping grades, so she's a second-year medical student at 18. She's already graduated from university. Huh. I can't help but smile at Noah's clueless reaction. Don't you know about the education system in France? Shut up. Considering how knowledgeable you are, I thought you would know. I lightly apologize, and he bites his lip. He has huge pride. Even during our marriage, he would show his displeasure at the slightest remark from me, and even now, approaching 60, his attitude hasn't changed. I sigh quietly. Grace graduated from high school at 15, and then from college at 17. She's worked so hard, even though I'm a single parent. She's such a wonderful daughter, both inside and out. That's how I truly feel. Grace is my pride and joy. However, Noah, out of frustration, throws out a statement that cannot be ignored. You must have pulled some strings using your doctor's authority or something. What? You're probably a professor or something over there, right? With that kind of power, you could manipulate anything, whether it's high school, college, or medical school. Don't underestimate me. Don't lump me in with you. That's you, isn't it? Sending your child to the bottom-rung courses in high school, and then struggling to even get into a university, let alone a dental school. You pulled some strings and managed to squeeze your child into some low-ranking medical school in the countryside, right? How did you know that? Well, I met someone who was your classmate in junior high and high school, and heard a lot of things. Noah, caught off guard by this unexpected turn, seemed to be on a quest to find out who it was, asking like a child, "Who was it?" Annoyed, I ignored him and took a sip of the coffee poured into the cup in front of me. The familiar taste made my troubled heart feel a little calmer. One of the hospitals affiliated with the university where they accepted her has a clinic run by an American person. He seemed to want me to start working at the university hospital right away, but I was pregnant at the time. So, he suggested I teach at the university while working part-time at that clinic. It turns out he knew about me over there, and he asked, what happened to Noah? Of course, I didn't know anything about that person, and when I asked why he knew me, he said he had heard about my background and my husband. I've heard some things, like, just because you're rich, you bullied people or used your money to play around with girls. Noah's family were landowners in the countryside, typical wealthy landowners. So, he had power in the local area, plenty of money, and he could do whatever he wanted as an only child. He fit the stereotype of a typical bully perfectly. Who did you hear that from? Spit it out. It doesn't matter who it was. You're famous, right? Your actions were talked about among your classmates and friends. So, it doesn't matter who I heard it from, does it? As if to silence him, still trying to say something, I continued. That person told me that I was being used. At first, I didn't get it. But after listening carefully, I understood. You, who came from the countryside, and me, who has been living in the city. We met for the first time at our new workplace, and I didn't know anything about you. Not knowing your past made it convenient for you, right? So you figured it out. Yay, that's right. Both of us were new at work, and I had just come from the countryside where I didn't know anyone. And you, who had also just arrived, didn't know about my crappy past or my character. You were convenient for me. What's wrong with that? Finally, Noah brazenly admits it, so I throw my words at him like a barrage. But that's not all, is it? You wanted a talented child. A child who could negate your own complex, right? So, you wanted me. No, you wanted my position and genetics, didn't you? You wanted my outstanding position and genetics, which are the opposite of yours, didn't you? What do you mean by opposite? Don't say stupid things in front of the child. In front of the child? You shouldn't say things like that in front of this kid. He's trying to protect his pride even after admitting everything. The sheer pettiness of this man makes me sick to my stomach. Don't worry. Grace knows everything. Everything, including the fact that you tossed aside both Grace and me in pursuit of your perfect child, and your past, present, everything. What? Did you spill everything? I just stated the facts, like how you disappeared before she was born. Trying to fool Grace, who's so bright, won't work. I don't get it, Noah's loud voice echoed in the quiet cafe terrace. Then Grace, who had been silent until then, spoke up. Don't you think it's uncool? I'm asking, don't you think it's uncool? Why the heck should I care what a brat like you thinks? Even to someone you consider a brat, the way you live is uncool. He probably never expected to be told such a thing by his child. Noah gritted his teeth with a crimson face. Observing him with a cool gaze, Grace continued. As my mother said, I know everything. Not just about the past, but also about the present. I never expected you to go begging to the professor who's going to take care of me. I heard the clinic went under. What? Due to repeated failures and plastic surgeries leading to a drop in customers, embezzlement, and failed investments. Well, it probably all started 18 years ago. How dare you say that kind of thing? It all started when you abandoned my mother and chose a new partner. Oh, no, maybe it started when you started to get easy money at the clinic and got dazzled by a woman blinded by money. Their existence turned you into a money-grubbing monster and led to your downfall. Caught off guard by the truth from his 18-year-old child, Noah's face turned even redder and his lips began to tremble. How about admitting it? You're a piece of crap who ruins people's lives. So, isn't it karma that's coming back to bite me now, don't you see? Wait, what? You think I'm ruining someone's life? Thanks to breaking up with me, Kate became a professor in France, and you're telling me you're able to attend medical school at the age of 18. It's all because of me, isn't it? What? Are you kidding me? Huh. It's not because of you, that's just how things turned out. Sure, the divorce might have been the trigger, but my acceptance into the university right after was the result of my mother's efforts until then. And while I'm putting in my own effort to attend medical school early, it's also because my mother always looked out for me. She's always been someone who worked hard and cared for others, and that's why good things come back to her. But for someone who easily discards others and ends up ruining even their workplace, there's a pathetic reality waiting where they'll have to protect themselves with their tiny bit of pride in such situations. I saw this side of Grace for the first time. While we've had heated discussions due to differences in opinions, I've never seen her raise her voice or unleash her anger towards someone. I might have had moments where emotions ran high while calmly taking in what I've heard from others, including Grace herself. But I never imagined she would see me in that light and have those farts. Yet, even in the face of Grace's undeniable logic, Noah seems unable to control his emotions. What? You wouldn't even exist if it weren't for me. Everything is thanks to me. Huh. How could you say something like that to your child? It's fine, Mom. I'm not bothered by it. I'm grateful for being born, of course. But, well, technically, it's gratitude towards my grandparents who supported you for all those years. Huh. He probably didn't expect the topic of his parents to come up at this point. Noah freezes with a stunned expression. Even after we separated, my in-laws actually kept in touch with me and showed concern for Grace. Well, you wouldn't know anything about it since you severed ties with them after our divorce. What? Are you still in touch with my parents? You must have instigated cutting ties with me to gain allies. Huh. No way. Your grandparents gave up on you because you cheated on my mother and remarried a foolish young woman. Huh. You barely managed to graduate from medical school with the help of money, then struggled to get your medical license after countless private lessons, ended up in a mediocre position at a general hospital after barely scraping through an extra year, hidden in the shadows under senior doctors. You couldn't stand that because of your huge pride, so you complained to your parents again and got them to open a cosmetic clinic for you. Yet, you got carried away by the plastic surgery boom, started your womanizing habits again that you had hidden during your residency, and began hiring based on whether or not the women pleased you. It's like a harem, surrounded by women. And to top it off, you impregnated a nurse over 20 years younger, abandoned your wife and children, and ended up destroying the clinic built by your parents, all for the sake of those women. What more can your grandparents possibly do for you? Overwhelmed by Grace's rapid-fire delivery of my husband's dark history without stumbling once, Noah stammered incomprehensible words in agony. Seeing his bewildered expression, or perhaps sensing a bug in his brain that made him suddenly calm down, Noah started saying something outrageous. So why don't you connect us? Huh. You asked around in the lab earlier, didn't you? After my clinic went under, I'm struggling to find work. I do think you must be having a hard time, even resorting to seeking help from your ex-wife's former workplace. Right. Everyone's so cold. So, if you, the daughter of Kate, who is highly talented, promising, and widely trusted, after the unfortunate breakup, offered to help your reunited father, they'd definitely help out, wouldn't they? Noah lamented like a tragic heroine while making such abnormal remarks, and Grace and I exchanged glances, sighing. Pitiful. Huh. Crying to a child you hadn't even thought about since you abandoned them. That's pathetic and uncool, isn't it? Shut up. What do you know about me? I don't know, don't want to know, and never intend to know. I don't want to know about someone who, despite being a doctor, can't empathize with others, only thinks of themselves, and ends up causing medical accidents. And seriously, it's strange to come crying to Grace. Don't you have a talented child at home? Just ask them for help. Mine is impossible. I barely managed to get her into a decent private women's college through connections. More money. Huh. You solved it with money again, just like yourself. It's not a problem if it's solved with money. Noah, who had just been reminded of his past, heated up again, and retorted with a red face. But fundamentally, things like this shouldn't be solved with money. It's wrong to settle the fate of others with money. Sometimes, things can't be solved even with money. Huh. Do you know that one of the victims of your medical accidents was a relative of my professor? Huh. I think it was the niece of my mentor, Professor Ted. She had surgery at your clinic, and there were complications with the facial muscles. Huh, could it be that unresolved issue that couldn't be solved with money? It seems like you're running away by closing the clinic from the inconvenient cases that couldn't be solved with money, huh? But you know, people in the medical field are somehow connected, somewhere. Like me, I ended up connecting with your associates and friends. Whether my words were reaching him or not, Noah, his face pale, started sweating profusely and froze in place, only his eyeballs trembling. It's okay. Huh. Because it will turn out just as you imagine. Dick. Are you so scared you can't even speak? It's your own mess, so it's not something to be scared of now. For your own gain, you don't care about others' bodies, right? So just do your best to keep that pitch-black spirit caged, at least. Wait. Am I really? Eventually, won't someone come for you? You seem so overwhelmed with trying to secure your job that you haven't noticed at all. You're joking, right? A malicious story like this. There's no way it's a joke. You don't have to look for work anymore. Even if you could find something, you wouldn't be able to work anyway. Haha. You're lying. If you think it's a lie, then think so. Until then, please enjoy your precious time with your family. Having said what I wanted to say, I gently touched Grace's arm, urging her to move. Grace, who returned the touch with her other hand, smiled softly. Afterward, Grace returned to France after about 2 months of medical studies. America is awesome. The food is delicious, people are kind, the professors and seniors are polite, discussions are interesting. Seriously, I might consider returning to America in the future. After experiencing intensive involvement with America and the American during her studies abroad, Grace seemed to have developed different perspectives and emotions than when she occasionally visited America before. Well, that's good. Let me know if you need anything. I should thank the professors too. While saying, "I'm counting on you," Grace wrinkled her nose at the sweet French juice she hadn't had in a while. Though, by the way, he got caught, huh? Yay. During Grace's study abroad, Noah was arrested. It seems that the fact that the failed cosmetic clinic caused multiple medical accidents involving medical personnel was making headlines on news and variety shows in America every day. Surely Grace must have heard and seen enough of it. Grace, who went to study, returned home with unexpected byproducts. But she's 18 now. Until now, she's been too mature, too hardworking. Using one's abilities is certainly important, but I keenly feel, as someone with over 30 years of medical experience, that medical practice must come with humanity. Medical practice is an act to help people's lives, and the main actor is always people. From now on, Grace will surely grow significantly as a person. As a parent and a senior in the medical field, I will quietly support Grace from behind, sometimes walking together. It will surely be a lifelong activity. I've decided to go on a trip to Hawaii. What? Hawaii? I tilted my head in confusion as my mill told me this with a beaming smile. Despite being burdened with debt and struggling with monthly repayments, she was planning a trip to Hawaii. And what's more, she was going without me after having me send her money every month. I couldn't stand it. Stop joking around. I yelled in anger, and my mill looked at me, puzzled. This was all my husband Anthony's conspiracy. I was shocked by the truth that came from my mill's mouth. My name is Avery, 35 years old. I work as a regular employee, leading an ordinary life. Anthony and I had been married for 5 years. We had lived peacefully without any major issues. Then, one day, a significant challenge suddenly fell upon us. It all started when my Phil passed away. He was a quiet but very gentle man who always cherished us as a family. I believe it was because of him that I could blend seamlessly into my husband's family. That's why I couldn't accept his death. After the funeral settled down, Anthony broached a topic when we were having dinner. "Hey Avery, I know it's sudden, but what's up?" "Well, I'm thinking of starting to send money to my mom from next month." "Money? Why's that?" "I think she is having a hard time since Dad passed away, so..." "Wait a minute." I hastily cut him off. "Sure, losing her husband, the breadwinner, is tough. But your sister live at your parents' home, right?" "Well, yes, but..." "Anthony has an older sister, Cindy, who lives at her parents' home. She works for a major company and earns way more than Anthony." I also knew that my Phil worked in a quite major company until his retirement. My Mill should have enough savings. On the other hand, we both work for small companies. Our salaries are probably lower compared to others our age. I didn't see why we should be the ones to send money to my Mill. "Listen, Anthony, your mom and sister aren't in a situation where they are strapped for cash, right? So why do we need to send money?" When I asked Anthony, his answer was unbelievable. "Well, to be honest, Mom has a considerable amount of debt." "What? For real?" "But Mom hasn't told my sister about her debt, so I really want to help her out." "Doesn't she have any savings?" "Most of that was used up for my dad's hospital bills, surgery, and funeral expenses. So, she is really strapped for cash now." I can't believe it. I know it's a lot to ask, but please. Seeing him begging, I felt indescribable emotions. Indeed, I've been greatly helped by my Mill. She did household chores and often cooked dinner for us until I found my current job. She even occasionally gave Anthony some money when he was changing jobs. She was so conscientious that she told us she would love to help us. We have been saved by her support countless times. It would be heartless to abandon her when she's in trouble, after all she had done for us. To repay the kindness I had received, I wanted to help her in any way I could. In the end, I decided to accept my husband's proposal. From then on, our lives became more frugal to send money to my Mill. We never lived luxuriously before, but our meals became even more simpler, and we switched to cheaper everyday items. Anthony started working overtime almost every day, often coming home past midnight. One day, maybe due to the unfamiliar lifestyle, I fell ill with a fever. As I was preparing to go to a doctor, Anthony said, "Hey, are you seriously going to see a doctor?" "Yes, why are you asking me that?" "It's just a fever, right? We need to save money. There's no need to see a doctor for just a fever." "What?" Confused by his words, I barely managed to respond. "But what if it's a viral fever? There are antipyretic at home. Just take those and sleep. Seeing a doctor is a waste of money." "But..." "Listen, don't you dare go to see a doctor. We're trying to save money," he sternly told me, and I had no choice but to lie in bed at home, ending up bedridden for 3 days. It was around this time that I started to feel distrust towards Anthony. Months later, to check on Mimel, Anthony and I visited her house. Entering the living room, I saw clothes and suitcases scattered around. "Oh, were you in the middle of cleaning up?" Mimel happily responded. No, actually, I've decided to go on a trip to Hawaii." "What? Hawaii?" "Yes. Cindy invited me to join her." "Oh, Avery, would you like to come too?" "What?" As I struggled to respond, Cindy excitedly clapped her hands, saying, "That sounds great." I didn't get what they were talking about. They were planning a lavish trip to Hawaii while having Anthony and me send them money. What a joke. Ignoring me, Mill and Cindy continued their cheerful conversation. "I'm so excited. I've never been to Hawaii." "Me too. And it's surprisingly affordable right now." "Indeed. So, Avery, don't worry. If you decide to come, Cindy and I will cover your trip expenses." "Yay, you should come too." Unaware of my feelings, they continued their excited chatter. Eventually, I lost my patience with the two of them, inviting me on the trip with smiles. "Stop joking around. A trip to Hawaii. What on earth are you thinking?" "What?" My sudden outburst left them with their mouths agape. They began to nervously try to calm me down. What's wrong, Avery? Did we say something wrong? Did we force you into a trip you don't like? It's not about that at all. How can you even think of inviting me on a trip? Do you even understand your situation? Wait, Avery, calm down. I don't get it. Why are you so angry? Enough is enough. If you can afford a trip to Hawaii, why don't you just pay off your debt? What? Debt. Unable to hold back any longer, I let out all my feelings without regard for them. We can barely save any money, can't even go to see a doctor when sick, yet we prioritize sending you money. And you can just nonchalantly plan a trip. Don't be so selfish. By the time I'd let everything out, tears were streaming down my cheeks. I didn't know if I was more upset or sad. All I knew was that the life we'd been scrimping and saving was more painful than I'd imagined. I broke down crying right then and there. Seeing this, Anthony rushed over to me in a panic. Hey, what are you saying? But, that's enough, we're going home. Anthony forcibly pulled my arm. Then, Cindy slowly spoke up. Wait a minute. What debt are you talking about? What? Anthony said his mom has a huge debt. At my words, my eyes widened. There's no such thing. I still have plenty of savings. If I had debts, I couldn't afford a trip. But, in that moment, I realized everything, and a fiery anger rose within me. Anthony's income never increased despite his daily overtime. Despite our drastic cost cutting, I was the only one getting sick and losing weight. The most telling sign was that my usually conscientious mill never thanked us for the money we sent. I realized it was all Anthony's lie. There was never any need for sending money in the first place. I could have gone to see a doctor when I had a fever. It was something I could have easily realized, but it seemed I wasn't able to think clearly amidst our strained life. Realizing everything, my mill and Cindy glared sharply at Anthony. Anthony, what's going on? You told Avery that Mom was in debt and made her send money. Well, I mean, explain it to us clearly so that we can understand. Come on, hurry up. Well, he was trying desperately to get out of this situation. Anthony was visibly uncomfortable, and my love for him had completely cooled off by now. I confronted him, who was wearing an uncomfortable expression, with clear questions. Hey, what's going on? Neither your mom nor sister had any debt. Where did all the money I gave you every month go? Well, don't bother lying now, okay? The truth Anthony finally admitted was incredibly hard to accept. I, actually, was invited by a colleague to a strip club. A strip club. Yay, and, well, I kind of got hooked on it. I can't believe this. You started talking about sending money right after your dad passed away, and you were going to a strip club. I'm sorry, I just thought of it as a way to unwind, nothing serious. I don't care. How could you even do that? Lying about sending money and using my money to go to a strip club. How can you do something so horrible? No, it's not like that. I didn't mean to hurt you, Avery. I didn't mean it. As I yelled, Anthony tried to placate me with convenient lies. But once trust is broken over money, even between husband and wife, it's hard to repair. No matter how much he apologized, I couldn't forgive him. I'd reached my limit. I couldn't stay with someone who lied so easily. I couldn't bear the strain on my heart any longer. I told Anthony clearly, that's enough. You didn't mean to hurt me. That's a joke. Lying is bad enough, but how much do you have to belittle me? You told me going to see a doctor is a waste of money while you enjoy going to a strip club. That's terrible. Cindy whispered in shock as I continued. I've been scrimping and saving for your mom, whom I deeply respect. Food, daily necessities, clothes, I've sacrificed everything. Do you even understand that feeling? I can't even consider you family anymore. You should go to hell right now. It's just a strip club, isn't it? Just a strip club. Spending money on girls with the money saved from your wife's medical expenses must feel great, huh? No, that was just a work thing. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. Wait, please, Avery. I need you. What now? Go enjoy your beloved strip club and learn your lesson. That's harsh. Oh, and by the way, I expect you to pay back every penny of the money I gave you. When I relayed what happened, my mill and Cindy quickly apologized. Avery, I'm so sorry about my foolish son. I had no idea what was going on. I don't even know how to apologize. He is such an irresponsible brother. You don't have to apologize. It's not your fault. It is. His faults are also my responsibility as a parent. I'll do anything to make amends. Avery, let me apologize too. I'm really sorry for the trouble and hurt my brother caused. It's all right, but I've decided to divorce him. I'm sorry things turned out this way after all the kindness you've shown me. As I said, they shook their heads with tears in their eyes. Thank you for everything. Then Anthony called out to me in a pained voice. He knelt down and started making excuses again. Avery, please. I'm sorry for everything. Please forgive me. Cindy was the first to react. A sharp slap echoed in the room. As Anthony held his reddened cheek in shock, Cindy looked down at him and said, "Stop being stupid. How much more do you need to hurt Avery?" Cindy. Lying about sending money, not letting her go to see a doctor, then using that money in a strip club. How could you do such a thing? It's a disgrace to have you as a brother. It's not like that, please listen to me. You've been forcing Avery to save money for months, driving her to the edge. Neither Mom or I will ever forgive you. Don't ever show your face to us again. Cindy dragged a teary Anthony out and locked the door. She locked the door and deleted all of Anthony's contact information. No matter how much he wailed outside the door, it never opened again. Avery, I'm truly sorry. I can't make excuses for such irresponsibility, but forget about that guy and find happiness. Saying this, Cindy hugged me tightly. I expressed my gratitude to both of them and left the house. After that, I moved out of our marital home and rented an apartment near my workplace. Being a full-time employee, I wasn't in much trouble financially after the divorce. I proceeded with the divorce by hiring a lawyer I knew, and it was quickly finalized as Anthony was clearly at fault. I managed to get not only the money he deceitfully took under the guise of sending to his mother, but also the maximum allowable alimony. He had to pay the alimony in one lump sum, and his life has drastically changed. He now works overtime incessantly, seemingly worn out and working through the night. He probably doesn't have time to go to his beloved strip club anymore. Now, he's just a shell of a person, working day in and day out. I've received several messages from Anthony after the divorce. I was wrong, please forgive me. I've quit going to a strip club. I won't ask for reconciliation. But I'm really struggling, so could you lend me some money, just a little? You're the only one I can rely on. All he talks about is money. I've gone beyond disgust. It's just pitiful now. I've already got what he owed me, and I've been thinking about blocking him lately. On the other hand, I continued to stay in touch with my Mill and Cindy. They've been concerned about me and kept in touch even after the divorce. Just the other day, seeing me healthy, my Mill cried with relief. I'm really glad that you look so well. Thank you, but you don't have to worry about me anymore. I can manage on my own now. That's right, you'll be fine. But if you ever need anything, talk to me or Cindy, okay? Thank you for this divorce. For their sake, who always wished for my happiness first, I'll live life to the fullest.